Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Grama Tarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, we welcome all of our wonderful devotees viewing us from YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and over Zoom. Welcome to each and every one of you to this day 3 of Shri Vraja Mandal Parikrama. Welcome. So yesterday, we performed half of the Panca Krosha Parikrama, and today we will complete the Pancha Krosha Parikrama part 2. Again, 5 kroshas is Pancha Krosha, which is 9 miles, which is 15 kilometers. So we already completed 4.5 miles or 7.5 kilometers, and the rest of the time, rest of the distance we will cover today. Yesterday, as you know, can we have the slideshow, please? We had the first half, which is Krishna Balaram tree. We went to ISKCON Goshala right after Mangalarti. Then we went to Kalia Daha, Imli Tal, Chir Ghat, Shringarvat, Keshi Ghat, and Dhira Samira. That's what we went yesterday. And today we continue from Dhira Samira, and we will cover Seva Kunja, Nidhivan, Shri Banke Bihari temple, all the temples of the 6 Goswamis, Radha Govinda temple, Radha MadanMohan temple, Shri Shri Radha Gopinath temple, Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda temple, Shri Shri Radha Shyamasundar mandir, Radha Raman mandir, Shri Shri Radha Damodar mandir. And then we'll discuss the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada in Shri Shri Radha Damodar temple. So next slide, please. Today, first, as you see, the map that you can see now. I was just waiting for the slide to change. And that's this map, we did the first half, and then we are now coming back. And all these temples are actually very close to ISKCON temple, and very close to Yamuna, very close to each other. So we would be covering that part on the way back. So instead of just walking, we will be walking on the periphery like the Parikrama mark shows, but then we will visit what is there inside. So we will just meditate while we are walking and completing the rest of our Parikrama till we come back to the ISKCON Krishna Balaram Mandir where we started. So by the time we complete, we will be meditating on all these different Goswami temples and the different other kunjas that we will be visiting today, the forest groves, which we will be visiting today, that it will make our walking very, very pleasurable. Next slide, please. So now we start with Seva Kunja. Seva means service. Kunja means the forest grove, the grove of service. Seva Kunja, as this name suggests, is where Lord Krishna serves Srimati Radharani. Typically, Radharani is the devotional ecstasy of Krishna. She is the devotional energy of Krishna. But Krishna, being the Supreme Personality, is worshipping Srimati Radharani in Seva Kunja. It is also a Rasa Sthali where they perform the rasa dance. And this is the place which depicts the loving pastimes of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna along with the gopis, where Lord Krishna and Sri Radhe, they rest and spend their time in intimate association of each other. Next slide, please. Lord Krishna, he massages the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani here and decorates them with alta or red dye. This is a very, very intimate pastime, which generally people cannot understand. A devotee serves the Lord, but the Lord serving his devotee in this way, touching the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, this is a very, very intimate pastime. Next slide, please. And he also decorates her lotus feet with alta. This is where Krishna is serving Srimati Radharani. And then there will be a place where Radharani would serve Krishna. Of course, Radharani serves Krishna everywhere, but this is a very special place, Seva Kunja. He also, next slide, while serving her, not only he dyes, dyes, D-Y-E, not D-I-E, not only does he dye with red dye or alta, the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, next slide, he also combs her beautiful hair, long hair, and decorates her with flowers and gems that are studded with ornaments prior to Rasalila. This is the place where Krishna performed his most enchanting pastime of Rasalila with the gopis and Srimati Radharani. It's within Seva Kunj. Popularly, it's known by Sri Rasa Mandala. Now, Seva Kunj, another place that we will go to next is Nidhivan. Seva Kunj and Nidhivan, both these places, during dusk, no one is allowed to stay at Seva Kunj. In fact, you will see that by dusk, as soon as there is dusk, all the monkeys, all the rats, all the different animals which are in Seva Kunja, they just go out automatically. As soon as there is dusk, no animal remains, no human is allowed to remain as well. Because it is said, Lord Krishna and Sri Radha, they come here every evening to enjoy their pastimes. Next slide, please. This is again Lord Krishna decorating and serving Srimati Radharani, massaging her hand in this case. Next slide, please.
Here Srimati Radharani is being fed pan, betel leaves by Krishna himself. Sweet betel leaves are being fed by Sri Krishna himself to Srimati Radharani. This is Seva Kunja. Can we just, stop the PowerPoint for a minute? Can we just have us back? I want to show something to everyone. So Prabhu, as all of us know, he is from Braj. He is actually Brajbasi. He's from Uchagaon, Lalita Sakhi's village originally. And one of Prabhu's relatives, his like Chachaji, uncle, is the Sevite at the Seva Kunj. So after our marriage, when we went to Vrindavan, my father-in-law, he took us to Vrindavan to see and meet our relatives there in Vrindavan. When we went to see this particular devotee, our Chachaji in Seva Kunj, he took us to his home, and then, as a gift, something very special I had received from him. This is, if y'all can see, this is Sri Giriraj Shila. This is Giriraj Shila. And if you see, there's a small tiny hole here. This is Giriraj Shila. And like Giri Govardhan, from a stone from Giri Govardhan.
It's black.
It's completely black. Generally, Govardhan Shilas are brown in color, but this one is completely black, if you can see.
It has become red because of the sindoor that has been used on it.
But this is a magic Shila, which he gave to us. While giving to us, he told us.
2004?
2002. 2002 is when we received this. And he said that if we just, this Shila is actually stepped on by Krishna himself. Krishna's lotus feet has stepped on the Shila, and therefore this Shila, if we just put some water and use this, if you can see, if we can use this dry tulasi twig, and then if we just, on the water, if you just do that, and then put over here as tilak, this, if you can see the black tilak, this is the water which is put on the Shila. And he told me to wear this every day so that I'll be saved from the evil eye. Nazar na lage. So this was the gift that we received from Seva Kunj. And he gave us also sindur from Seva Kunj. So this is sindur, and this is that Giriraj Shila, Srimati Radharani sindur, and this is Giriraj Shila that I wanted all of you to see today. So Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Lal ki Jai. Shri Shri Seva Kunj ki Jai. Can we go back to the slideshow, please?
So next slide, please. From Seva Kunj, we will go to, if we go to next slide, to Nidhivan or Nidhuvan. With different names, it said Nidhi means sleep and one means forest.
So, which Nidhuvan basically means lovable pastimes, which are enacted here in this particular forest. The loving pastimes of in the forest of this Kunja. We have beautiful, beautiful pastimes, loving pastimes that are enacted here in Nidhuvan. It's the place where, after completing the rasa dance, then Shri Radha and Krishna, they come here to take rest and to take, to sleep in the night after they're so tired after performing, the rasa dance. So there is a small temple here, as you can see, where Nidhuvan is written. That big, like that dome temple, that is called as the Ranga Mahal. That is the place where Shri Radha and Krishna, they come to rest at night. Can we have the next slide, please? So in this forest of Nidhuvan, as you can see, that the trees, they are very special and unique trees. The trees are as if they are bowing down to the ground. They're offering their obeisances to the ground of this place of Nidhuvan, because this place is, touched by the dust. Every day, Shri Radha and Krishna come and frolic in this forest. So that's why the trees, they have become like this, that they're offering their obeisances to the floor here, to the ground here. This is so amazing. We cannot see such trees other than Seva Kunj and Nidhuvan. Both of them have trees like this, especially Nidhuvan has trees like this. So we offer our obeisances. Each of these trees are like Kalpa Vriksha, which means desire tree, wish fulfilling tree. So let us touch them, embrace them, and just pray that please, bestow us with pure love for Shri Radha and Krishna. Next slide, please. So here in this Ranga Mahal, the inner temples of the Ranga Mahal is, beautified by, of course, the fine paintings that you can see, and also very nice, colorful glasses are there. It's a very, very beautiful room. There's this bed that is kept over there, and the priest of the temple, he decorates the bed and he puts, fresh pot of water every day. He puts sindoor, kumkum, and flowers, fruits, some eatables. He puts all of that, and then they lock the Ranga Mahal, they lock the door, and as soon as it is sunset at dusk, everyone, all human beings, including the monkeys, the birds, everyone, they leave this place. And the next day morning, if we go, the pujari will open the door along with us. And then he comes and opens the door of this Ranga Mahal. And whenever we describe it, our hair stands on end. But as soon as the doors are opened, we can see that the flowers are all scattered. The bed seems as if somebody has slept in. The water pots, the water turns yellow because Krishna chews on the betel leaves and he puts it into the water. so that the water turns yellow with camphor and with saffron. So wonderful to even see all of this at Nidhivan. And then the pujaris are really merciful. They're really, really kind, that they bless us with lot of shringar items. Like if for ladies especially, when we go there, the pujaris very mercifully, they give us bangles. So we have here, we have here a dry flower for everyone to see. So this is some dry flower from Nidhivan that we have. These are some bangles that we received from Srimati Radharani here from the bed at Nidhivan. So this is for all of you. Please take darshan. So this is how Shri Radha and Krishna till today they enjoy intimate pastimes. Many people they have said that, oh, is it really true? Is it really true? And they, tried to stay back, and try to see. And some of them have gone blind. Whoever stayed back, they either go blind, they either, leave their body.
Some of them go mad.
Some of them go mad. It is said because Krishna really comes. And if we are not at that level to see Krishna in that level of our devotional service, this is what's going to happen. So we must not, doubt these kind of leelas and just accept them, that the Lord really, really comes and he enjoys intimate pastimes with his beloved Srimati Radharani. Next slide, please. So as we can see, the bed is decorated with flowers on special days, and the entire room is decorated with flowers on special days. Next slide, please. And here, before resting, Srimati Radharani, she feeds Krishna different sweets. She personally feeds Krishna. She personally serves Krishna here at Nidhivan before taking rest. So this
in
is
Seva Kunj, Krishna serves Radharani. Nidhivan, Radharani serves Krishna.
Hari Bol. So Jai Shri Shri Radha Kunja Bihari Jeev Ki Jai.
And this is actually spiritual life. Krishna is not some dictator. He's the supreme personality of Godhead, but he is only wanting loving reciprocation. And not only does he want us to serve him for our benefit, but also he serves his devotees. We have this seva bhav because he has that seva bhav. We are his part and parcel. And then there is this constant competition between the Lord and his devotee, who will serve more. And there is this is the spiritual world. If we have that same consciousness here in this material world, that place will become the spiritual world by Kunta.
Next slide, please.
Sri Banke Bihari Lal Ki Jai. From here, from Nidhivan, we come to Sri Banke Bihari Temple. This is one of the most popular, most visited temple in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Banke means bent, and Bihari means enjoyer, one who just roams around enjoying. And that's why Krishna, who is bent in three places, is called Banke Bihari. He's bent on his neck, he's bent on his hip, he's bent on his knee. In that, Sri Banke Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Next slide, please. In fact, here is Sri Banke Bihari Ji. He's a little boy, very, very beautiful. And it is said that only jhalak darshan is given, which means after every 1 minute, his curtain closes. Then it opens for some time, and then again it closes. So like that, because there is an understanding that Krishna, as a cowherd boy, is very restless. And so seeing his devotees, he runs out of the altar. And we'll describe that pastime in a little more detail. But Banke Bihari can also be defined the other way, where Banke means of the forest. Banke. Ban means forest, K means of. Banke. And Bihari means one who dwells or roams around. So one who roams around the forest is Banke Bihari. That is Banke Bihari.
So it is said that Banke Bihari Ji, he has such mesmerizing eyes that he has the capacity to hypnotize anyone. And if anyone looks at Sri Bake Bihari Ji for some time, they just get intoxicated by his love. They just get hypnotized by his love. So the curtains, they keep closing. This is one understanding. Another understanding was a beautiful pastime where there was one little girl who visited Vrindavan Dham with her parents, and she came to this temple of Bake Bihari Ji, and she was so captivated by this beauty of Sri Bake Bihari Lal that, she was just standing in the corner against a pillar, and she was just looking lovingly at Bake Bihari Ji. And then her parents said, okay, let's go now, it's time for us to go. And she started crying that no, I don't want to leave Bake Bihari, I don't want to leave and go. But then the parents were dragging her, no, you have to come, you have to come. And when the parents started dragging her, Bake Bihari's heart, it went out to the girl, and he also left his altar and started following the girl. And he held on to the girl's hand, and he was, the parents were dragging her, Bake Bihari is also dragging her and, going along with her. So then the pujari came and said, hey, Bihari, where are you going? Don't go, don't go. And then Bihari Ji said, no, this girl, she's crying for me. I have to go with her. I have to go. I don't want to stay here. I will go with her. So then, the parents and the pujaris then started crying that, oh, what will we do? If you go away, what will we do? How will we serve you? Next slide, please. So then, seeing the intense devotion of, the pujari and the girl, Bake Bihari Lal was confused. Which side should I go? What should I do? So then the parents, they said to Bake Bihari Ji, they could understand Bihari Ji is in confusion. So then they said to Bake Bihari Lal that, don't worry, Bihari Ji, you stay on the altar. We will also stay here with you. We will not go away from here. So since that day, it is said that the pujari doesn't want to take any chance. The priest doesn't want to take any chance that if the devotees see Bihari Ji for a long time, or if Bake Bihari Ji also sees his loving devotees for a very long time, then he will just leave the altar and come. That's why they do, jhalak darshan, which means they just close the altar for some time, then open again. It's not constant darshan. So this is the beautiful temple of Sri Sri Banke Bihari Lal ki jai. Next slide, please. So we see here, this is a recent picture, which is, we are so thankful to Anjudi for providing these pictures to us. This is on the day of Sharad Purnima. So on Sharad Purnima, if you see that the entire temple is decorated with white balloons. It's so beautifully decorated with white balloons. This is the insides of the temple of Sri Banke Bihari Ji. Next slide, please. And this is the Sharad Purnima Darshan. You can see Bihari Ji in his white, complete white attire. And the white balloons over here is so wonderful. And we are so thankful to dearest Anjudi for providing us these pictures and this beautiful darshan, recent darshan of Sri Banke Bihari Lal. Nazar tohe lag jayegi. Jai Sri Banke Bihari Lal ki jai.
Next slide, please. So from Sri Banke Bihari Mandir, we come to Sri Sri Radha MadanMohan Temple. This is one of the landmarks of Sri Vrindavan Dham and the symbol of Vrindavan Dham. Wherever you see pictures of Vrindavan, you will see Sri Sri Radha MadanMohan Temple, because this is such a huge monument that is there. In fact, the deity of Madan Mohan is considered the heart and soul of Srila Sanatana Goswami, one of the 6 principal followers of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. After Lord Krishna left this world, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he was very much unable to bear the separation from the Lord. So he also decided, we will also leave the world. But before leaving, he coronated Maharaj Parikshit as the emperor of the world. And Vajranath, who was the great grandson of Lord Krishna, he was coronated as the king of Mathura. Next slide. Vajranath, this is again the Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan Temple. Vajranab was requested by these great devotees to restore the glories of Vrindavan. So Vajranab decided, because if you read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna left Vrindavan, went to Mathura, from Mathura to Dwarka, and on the pretext of killing a demon, he came back to Mathura. And from there, after killing the demon, he came to meet all the Brajvasis, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Devi, and all the gopis. That was the last time they met in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says after that he arranged for everyone from Vrindavan to go back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world, because he would be winding his pastimes soon. So all these different places of pastimes were asked to be erected by the devotees, and they were asked to Vajranab, the great grandson of Krishna, who was of the same era as Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit and Vajranab, they formed a great team. Maharaj Parikshit in Hastinapur, the leader, the king of the world, the emperor of the world, and Vajranab, the king of Mathura. He actually decided to excavate all these holy places of Vrajbhumi, where Lord Krishna performed his Leela, and then installed beautiful sacred deities in the principal places of Vrajadham. Then he sat on the banks of Yamuna under a desire tree called the Kalpa Vriksha tree, and he prayed to Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Because of the auspicious mercy of this Kalpa Vriksha desire tree, Radha and Krishna's mercy entered the heart of Vajranab and revealed to him all the holy places of the Leela of Lord Krishna. Later, when Vajranab decided to install the deities, he called Vishwakarma, the architect of the Devatas, of the demigods. And then the three principal deities were carved by Vishwakarma: Shri Shri Radha MadanMohan, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, and Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. These three deities. And then Mother Uttara, who was the mother of Maharaj Parikshit, she had seen Krishna directly because she was there. Krishna came and protected Maharaj Parikshit in the womb. Next slide, please. When she saw this beautiful form of Radha, Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. This is the replica deities of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, because Aurangzeb and some other Muslim rulers, they came and they wanted to completely destroy Sri Vrindavan Dham and all the deities. So the devotees during that era, they secretly sent these three principal deities, Sri Sri Radha Govinda, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, and Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, to Rajasthan. So Sri Sri Radha, next slide please. These are the current deities in Vrindavan Dham, and these are the original deities of Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, who are now installed in Karoli, Rajasthan. These are the ones that were carved by Vishwakarma on the instruction of Padmanabh. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Vajranabh, sorry. So when Mother Uttara saw this beautiful form of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, she explained that actually Lord Krishna's lotus feet are most perfectly revealed in this deity of Radha Madan Mohan. Then when she had the darshan of Shri Shri Radha Govinda, which we will see in some time, she explained, Mother Uttara, that the chest and the flute of the Lord are most perfectly revealed in the deity of Radha Govinda. And then when she saw the divine form of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, she explained that this beautiful smiling face of Lord Krishna is most perfectly revealed in the deity of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Thus, these became the three most important deities of Vraja, where the lotus face is of Krishna is similar to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. The middle torso and the flute are similar to Shri Shri Radha Govinda, and the lower torso and the lotus feet of Krishna are similar to Shri Shri Radha MadanMohan.
So
These are also considered to be the Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan deities.
So it is said that if in one day we can take darshan of these three deities, then it is equivalent to seeing Krishna himself. But when we come to see another deity, Radha Raman, we will reveal one more important thing at that time.
So for a long time, Sri Madan Mohan, he performed his Leela of being unmanifested in this world. And when Sri Advaita Acharya, he came to this world, the associate of Lord Chaitanya, Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. He traveled to many holy places, and when he lived in Vrindavan, he was staying at the banks of Yamuna under a tree that is called the Advaita Vat. Yesterday we saw Shringar Vat, Nityananda Vat. Today Advaita Vat. There, Sri Madan Mohan, who is also known as Madan Gopal, he revealed himself to Sri Advaita Acharya. And before leaving Vrindavan, Sri Advaita Acharya, with great love, he then entrusted the worship of Madan Gopal to one very pure-hearted Brahman in Mathura of the name Purushottam Chaube. This is before even Lord Chaitanya appeared.
So this great devotee, Purushottam Chaubeji, was completely free from all material attachments, and he worshipped Sri Madan Mohan as part of his own family member. Just like his own family member, Purushottam Chaubeji, he worshipped in Mathura. He worshipped Madan Mohan. So it is said that one time that Srila Sanatan Goswami, can we have the next slide, please? This is Srila Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami, he used to live in Vrindavan, and he would maintain his livelihood by performing madhukari. He would, he would go around begging and subsisting on whatever alms he's getting from, the Brajbasi. So one day he came to Mathura, and he came to the house of this Purushottam Chaubeji. And he came, and Chaubiji was a great reciter of Srimad Bhagavatam. He would, read Bhagavatam very, very intently every single day. So Sanatan Goswami, he had heard about Chaubiji. So then Sanatan Goswami came and, started, spending a lot of time with Chaubiji. And one day, Sanatan Goswami was told by Chaubiji that you want to see something wonderful? I will show you my Madan Mohan. So then Sanatan Goswami was brought to the altar room of Chaubiji, and he saw the beautiful, enchanting black deity of Sri Madan Mohan. And he was, so captivated. Sanatan was so captivated by the beauty of Madan Mohan. And so, because he was so attracted to Madan Mohan, every day Sanatan Goswami started visiting Mathura just to take association of Chaubiji and to read Bhagavatam and to see Madan Mohan. So one day, Sanatan Goswami and Chaubiji, they were sitting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. At that time, Chaubiji's little son, he came running to Chaubiji and said, Baba, Baba, look, this Madan Mohan, he's cheating me in his game. And he's saying this laddu, he wants it. He has one, so he wants this laddu. So this little boy, Chaubiji's own son, was holding one laddu. And he was saying, look, this Madan Mohan is cheating. And then Madan Mohan came running, the deity of Madan Mohan came running to Chaubiji and said that, no, Baba, I did not cheat. This your son, he's the one who cheated. I did not cheat. So then, Sanatan Goswami, was shocked to see this, that how is Madan Mohan, interacting with Chaubiji like this. He was shocked. And then Chaubiji was very casual about it. And Chaubiji said, Nay, Lala, don't fight like this. Don't fight like this. Play good. You should be good boys. Don't fight like this. So he took that laddu and he divided it into two parts. And he said, okay, for both of you eat this. Don't fight like this. So when Sanatan Goswami was seeing this intimate relationship of Madan Mohan and Chaubiji, he was very, 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 very impressed. And then Sanatan Goswami, for that, seeing those intimate pastimes, he kept coming back every single day to associate with Chaubeji. And then it is said that, one day when Sanatan Goswami visited, Chaubeji told Sanatan that, my dear Sanatan, this Madan Mohan, he wants to go with you to Vrindavan. And then Sanatan said, oh, really? He wants to come with me? But I am a Goswami. What will I feed him? How will I serve him? So Chaubeji said, this is what I tried to explain to Madan Mohan. And I told him, he himself is eating only by begging from others. How will he feed you? And Madan Mohan is crying. He is not listening to me. He's saying, nay, nay, Baba, I want to go with Sanatan. I want to go with Sanatan. Mujhe jana hai Sanatan ke saath. I want to go with him. So then Madan Mohan is crying like this. What should I do? So then Sanatan said, okay, if he's crying, then, let's go to him. So Sanatan Goswami came and saw that Madan Mohan is crying, that I have to go with you. Please take me with you. Please take me. So Sanatan said, see, I don't eat anything. I subsist on begging. So if you want to come with me, then whatever I give you to eat, you have to eat that. So Madan Mohan nodded. He said, yes, you just take me with you. I will eat whatever you give me. So then Madan Mohan said, okay. Sanatan said, okay, I will come. And then Madan Mohan, holding the hand of Sanatan Goswami, he came to Vrindavan. And when he came to Vrindavan, it is said that Sanatan Goswami, he would get some wheat, whole wheat. And, by begging, he would get some whole wheat. He would mix that with Jamuna water. And Jamuna's water is a little salty. So he would mix that with Jamuna water and he would, make that into little balls. And then he would, put it in the coal, hot burning coal, and it would bake nicely. And that he would offer to Madan Mohan. Next slide, please. So we see here that Sanatan Goswami, if you pinch the picture out, you can see Sanatan Goswami is giving to Madan Mohan, and Madan Mohan would eat directly from the hands of Sanatan Goswami. And this particular Mahaprasad is called as Anakoli, Anakoli, Anakoli. So till today, in Madan Mohan temple, in Sanatan Goswami's Samadhi especially, we can get this Mahaprasad till today. So one day Madan Mohan said that, please, Sanatan, I love staying with you, but at least you can add a little salt in this anakoli that you're making. Can you please just add some salt? So it seems as if our video has frozen. Can we try? Is it okay now? Yeah, I think we are good again. So can we go back, please? Thank you. Yeah, so then Sanatan Goswami said, Madan Mohan, I had told you that, you will, if you come and stay with me, then, I will give you whatever you have to eat. Whatever I give you, you have to eat. So today you're asking salt. Tomorrow you will ask Rajbhog. How I will give you? I don't want to give you all that. I had given you condition. So Madan Mohan said, okay, no. Whatever you give, I will eat that only. I want to stay with you. So this was the intimate relationship that Sanatan Goswami has with Madan Mohan. And how from the hands of Madan Mohan, Sanatan Goswami, Madan Mohan would eat from the hand of Sanatan Goswami. So this is how so beautifully, and then it is said that one merchant was carrying some salt, and Madan Mohan arranged also salt for himself. So that's a separate pastime in itself. But that merchant was the one who constructed this beautiful temple of Madan Mohan for Srila Sanatan Goswami. So this is very, very, very beautiful deity. And as Prabhu said, that this Madan Mohan, he is the Sambandha deity of our devotional service, that we are establishing our relationship. Sambandha means establishing our relationship with Krishna. So this is our Sambandha deity. We pray to Sri Madan Mohan for enhancing and allowing us to establish our relationship, our lost relationship with Krishna. Jai Sri Madan Mohan ki jai. Next slide, please.
So in this way, MadanMohan, he came under the loving care of Sanatan Goswami. And this is the samadhi of Srila Sanatan Goswami Ki Jai,
Jai.
next to Sri Madan Mohan temple. And when you go there, you will actually get the Anakoli Prasad, which Srila Sanatan Goswami used to offer to Sri Madan Mohan
Every single day.
every single
Jai.
day. Jai. Next slide, please. From Sri Madan Mohan temple, we come to Sri Radha Govinda temple. It was actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's strong desire that the sweet and the charming pastimes of the love of Vrindavan should be revealed to anyone who would accept it from him or his descendants. So Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had to stay in Jagannath Puri because of the request of his mother. So he entrusted to the 6 Goswamis, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami in particular, but also Srila Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. Slowly he sent them also to Vrindavan, but primarily Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami first. He gave them the service, go and re-establish the lost places of pilgrimage of Lord Sri Krishna's pastime. And Srila Rupa Goswami, then he re-established all of the wonderful, important places of Lord Krishna's holy Leela. But still, he was feeling this anxiety because of just one point. In the scriptures, it is said that Sri Govinda Dev was installed in deity form in the holy land of Vrindavan. And Srila Rupa Goswami had excavated all these different places of pastimes of Krishna. But then he was saying, where is the deity of Sri Govinda Dev? Next slide, please. And Srila Rupa Goswami, he looked throughout Vrindavan very extensively and he studied many books and he was desperately looking for the deity of Govinda Dev. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his desire is also to install Govinda Dev, but nowhere he could find the deity of Govinda Dev. Then he even searched through the houses of Vrajbasis. He would knock on Vrajbasis' doors. Do you have the deity of Sri Govinda Dev, which is written in the scriptures, which was installed by Sri Vajranab, the great grandson of Krishna, which is carved by Vishwakarma? But he could not find Sri Govinda Dev. So in his heart, he was feeling great sorrow. We do little bit and we become proud. But Srila Rupa Goswami, he was doing so many excavations, but he was still full of sorrow because he could not do this one service. So that made him miserable. One day, this is the deity of Sri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. He is in Jaipur, Rajasthan, and there is a wonderful, huge temple in Jaipur of Sri Radha Govinda. And if we go there, Mangal Arti is attended by thousands of local people in Jaipur. Every day, Mangal Arti 4:30 a.m. of Sri Radha Govinda is a sight to behold. In fact, there they give nice cotton, which is full of scent, offered to Sri Radha Govinda Dev. And the pujaris there, they take that cotton and put it in the curves of their ear, not inside the whole of the ear, but the curves of the ear. And then when one devotee asks them, why do you put this in the curves of your ear? This is like a scented thing offered to Sri Radha Govinda Dev. So this pujari said, well, that is the purpose. That is the reason Krishna has actually created the ear this way, so that we can put the cotton in here.
And the smell comes very beautifully throughout the day.
So this is the wonderful, this is their purpose of life. We can understand their consciousness, how they are treating their purpose of life, everything in relation to Sri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. He is the Abhideya deity. which means Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. Sambandha means establishing the relationship. Abhideya means following the process to establish the relationship. So we pray to Shri Radha Govinda Dev to please allow us to follow this process of Krishna consciousness with sincerity and humility, so that we may be able to perform Mangalartis, chant 16 rounds, follow the regulative principles, serve devotees with humility, tolerance, and love, and preach for your pleasure. Share this knowledge of Krishna consciousness with everyone for your pleasure. And in this way, we can follow this process, give us the strength to follow this process of Krishna consciousness, and please attract our hearts. Next slide, please. So one day when Srila Rupa Goswami, he was sitting on the bank of river Yamuna under a tree, a very, very charming Vrajvasi boy approached him. Next slide, please. This boy, he was so beautiful. He was calm. He was very quiet, this Vrajvasi boy. And he asked Srila Rupa Goswami, why are you looking so sad? Srila Rupa Goswami's heart was completely, when he saw this young boy asking this question, somehow his heart just became so attracted to him, helplessly attracted. And just he was enchanted by this Brajvasi boy. So he said, well, just because he was so attracted, he developed that trust in this little child and poured out his heart. Well, I cannot fathom, where is Srila Govinda Dev? So the boy said, Shri Govinda Dev, don't be sad. I know where Govinda Dev is residing. Come with me, follow me, come. And then he said, we will go slowly to this place, the hill called Gomati Hill. In this holy place, I have seen a cow, a Surabhi cow, comes every afternoon, and she just pours her milk on this rock in the on the top of this Gomati Hill. And I have a doubt that Sri Govinda Dev is hiding himself under the ground of this holy spot. And this Surabhi cow, she is doing Abhishek of Srila Govinda Dev on the top of this Gomti hill. Come, I will show you. And Srila Rupa Goswami, he was so attracted to this boy, little boy. He said, yes, let's go, let's go. Then this boy personally led Srila Rupa Goswami to that holy location. And then he suddenly disappeared. Rupa Goswami, as he was looking at this rock, he was talking to this boy and he said, where's this boy? Where did this boy go? And then it was revealed to Srila Rupa Goswami that that boy was Govinda Dev himself. And he said, Krishna appeared to me, and I am so ignorant, so fallen, I did not recognize my Lord. When he came before me, I did not even offer him respect, I just thought he's a simple, small Brajvasi boy. I did not perform any worship for him. So Srila Rupa Goswami, he fell unconscious in ecstatic love. Next slide, please. After a long time, let's go previously. Then after a long time, he came to his external consciousness. Then his eyes, they were filled with tears. In ecstatic emotion, he recalled the desire of the Lord. He told the Brajbasis, Sri Govinda Dev is under the ground in this place. But very soon, a whole crowd of these devotees, they gathered and they began to dig. Suddenly, a divine voice spoke from the sky. This was supposed to be Lord Balaram. He explained the Brajbasis exactly where to dig to get the deity of Sri Govinda Dev. He gave his profuse blessings to reveal Srila Govinda Dev to the world. And then this is just 500 years ago, with great care and attention, they dug, and finally from the earth, they discovered the transcendental form of Srila Govinda Dev, who was so beautiful, more than millions and millions of cupids. And when Sri Govinda Dev was discovered, everyone gazed upon him with so much love, and they all began to chant, Shri Govinda Dev Ki Jai. And then the Vrajvasis, they made a small temple for Shri Govinda Dev and offered everything to. Then Rupa Goswami, first he began the worship of Govinda Dev. All these demigods like Brahma, they disguised themselves as human beings. And they came to the earth, they made their offerings to Sri Govinda. First Arti, Srila Rupa Goswami was so happy, he immediately wrote a letter, Sri Govinda Dev is found. And he sent to Jagannath Puri, to Lord Chaitanya. So this is the glory of Sri Govinda Dev, Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai.
Next slide, please. Next, we come to this temple of Sri Radha Gopinath Ji. Sri Radha Gopinath Ji are the life and soul of Sri Madhupandit Thakur. The beautiful form of Gopinath was carved, of course, by Sri Vishwakarma under the direction of Krishna's great grandson, Vajranabha. Next slide, please. Gopinath deity is the Prayojana. He is the presiding deity of Prayojana. You can see the lotus face of Sri Gopinath is said to be resembling that of Krishna. So such a sweet, enchanting, divine form of Sri Gopinath Ji's moon-like lotus face. Jai Shri Gopinath Ji Jai. Prayojana means what is the ultimate objective. So ultimate objective of engaging in devotional service is to get pure love of Krishna. So Sri Gopinath Ji allows us to obtain pure love of Krishna. Next slide, please. So this is Sri Radha Gopinath Ji Ki Jai. They are the worshipful deities of Sri Madhupandit Thakur. Next slide, please. Now we come to Sri Radha Gokulananda Temple.
These are the worshipable deities, next slide please, of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Next slide please, we'll see the deities of Sri Radha Gokulananda and Sri Radha Vinod. Sri Radha Gokulananda are the worshipable deities of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who was one of the great acharyas in our sampradaya, whose purports Srila Prabhupada used to write his purports of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. And Sri Radha Vinod are the worshipable deities of Srila Lokanath Goswami. In fact, in this temple, the deities of Sri Radha Vinod are giving darshan on the right, and on the left are Sri Radha Gokulananda and Mahaprabhu. In fact, when Lokanath Goswami, he was living at this Kishori Kund near Khadiravan, a Brahmin boy came to him and offered a bag to him as donation. And this Brahmin boy ran away. And Lokanath Goswami, he had said, I'm just a sannyasi, I'm just a Babaji kind of. So he opened the bag and he found the beautiful deities of Radha Vinod. He was just spellbound. And at that time, the deity spoke to him and they told him, our name is Sri Radha Vinod. Then the deities said, we are very hungry. How are you going to feed us? And so Lokanath Goswami, he was in so much of a anxiety. I'm just a Babaji. I don't have any way to even feed myself. Sometimes I just go without eating anything. How can I feed you? But the only thing he would do, his temple was his neck of Lokanath Goswami, on which he would put his bag. And the deities of Sri Radha Vinod would just very lovingly be swinging from the neck in the bag of Srila Lokanath Goswami. And so Lokanath Goswami, he worshipped Radha Vinod, and later on at the invitation of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, Lokanath Goswami moved to Vrindavan. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, worshipable deities are Sri Radha Gokulananda. So we pray to them to please award us pure devotional service and service to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples and movement. Next slide, please.
Next, we come to this very beautiful temple of Sri Radha Shyamasundara. So this temple was established by Srila Shyamananda Pandit. And just across this temple is the Samadhi temple of Srila Shyamananda Pandit. He's a very, very, very important character, personality in our Sampradaya. It is said that Shyamananda Pandit would, let's first take darshan of Shyamasundar, Shri Radha Shyamasundar. Next slide, please. This is after we enter from the main hall, we come here to this temple, into the temple of Shri Radha Shyamasundar.
And the way it is written, Shri Radha is written in white, Shyamasundara is written in black, as you can see in the slide. That's where Krishna is saying, Radha kyu gori, main kyu kala. Next slide, please.
Haribo. Next slide. This is Shri Radha Shyamasundar Ji ki jai. Next slide, please. Let's take a close look at Shri Shyamasundar Bhagavan ki jai. So beautiful, so elegantly decorated Shri Shyamasundara. So Shyamasundara, they are very, very special deities. So let's listen to one very sweet pastime of how they appeared. Next slide, please. So this is Srila Shyamananda Pandit. Shyamananda Pandit is the disciple, he is the disciple of Hriday Chaitanya. Remember yesterday we talked about Gauridas Pandit at Dhira Shamira. So Gauridas Pandit's disciple is Hriday Chaitanya. Hriday Chaitanya's disciple is Sri Shyamananda Pandit. He was called as Dukhi Krishna. And every day his service was that he would sweep the Rasa Sthali. He would sweep the Rasa Mandala. And very humbly he would do this service. Next slide, please. So one day while sweeping the Rasasthali, he found a very, very bright, effulgent ankle bell, as we can see here. So as soon as he looked at that ankle bell, he could immediately understand that this belongs to Shriji Thakurani, to Srimati Radha Thakurani. He could immediately understand. And then immediately there was a little girl who came and she said to Shyamananda, to Dukhi Krishna, she said that, did you find one ankle bell here? So then Dukhi Krishna said, yes, I found an ankle bell. Then she said, yes, please, can I have that? That belongs to my sister. So can I have that? That little girl was none other than Lalita. And immediately, Lalita Sakhi, and immediately Shyamananda was able to understand that this is Lalita Sakhi. So he told her that I will not give this ankle bell to you. You bring your sister here and I will give it to her. So then Lalita Sakhi, disguised as that little girl, she went back to Srimati Radharani and said that the Dukhi Krishna, he wants to give it to you. And he has said that he will give it to the actual owner of this ankle bell. So please, can you, come, let's go take your ankle bell. So then Srimati Radharani herself came, and then Srimati Radharani came in front of Dukhi Krishna, and then she stood, and Shyamananda Prabhu, Dukhi Krishna, he actually adorned the ankle bell at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani was so pleased with Shyamananda, next slide please, that she took the ankle bell and she actually placed it on Shyamananda's forehead and told him that from today your name will not be Dukhi Krishna, you will be Sham Ananda. Means Dukhi means sad Krishna. So you're not Dukhi Krishna anymore, you are Shamananda. That means that you are always blissful in the divine service of my Lord Shyamasundara. And Radharani blessed him with the ankle bell tilak. It appeared like a little tilak on his forehead. And she also personally gave him the deity of Sri Shyamasundar. So this is how the deity of Sri Shyamasundar came to Srila Shyamananda Pandit. And, we are so fortunate that we are able to, see this wonderful, beautiful deity of Sri Shyamananda Pandit. Jai Srimati Radharani ki jai.
Let's do some Anusmarana on Sri Shyamananda Prabhu. When he was Dukhi Krishna, he was given the service. He was sent. You may remember yesterday we talked about Gauridas Pandit and his deities of Gaur Nityananda. And this Gauridas Pandit's disciple was Hriday Chaitanya, who also had a wonderful pastime, how Lord Chaitanya manifested from his heart, and he's called Hriday Chaitanya in that sense. His disciple was Dukhi Krishna Das from Ambika Kalna in Navadvip. He was sent to Vrindavan to learn under Jiva Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami, what service did he give him? He gave Dukhi Krishna Das to sweep the streets of Nidhivan, the forest of Nidhivan, which is where he found this. But Shyamananda Prabhu, he was such a great devotee. For several years, all he did was just sweep the streets. So we should understand what is the humility of these great devotees, why they become great, because they are willing to be the servant of the servant of the servant. And as a result of that, they were empowered by Srimati Radharani herself to spread the message of Sri Shyamananda Prabhu, of Sri Shyamasundar, and given the name Shyamananda Prabhu. This is because of his sincere, dedicated, humble, menial service attitude of sweeping the streets.
And he did not discriminate that this is big service, small service, genuine service, little service. Service is service. That is what is taught in our parampara. Service is service. It is not big, not great. Everything is service.
Next slide, please.
So now we come to this most gorgeous, beautiful temple of Sri Sri Radha Raman. Next slide, please. So here, this is the beautiful deity of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. If we remember from our South India Yatra, when Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was traveling South India, he stayed at the home of Vyankata Bhatta in Sri Rangam. And Sri Rangam, there for 4 months, Mahaprabhu stayed at the home of Venkata Bhatta. Venkata Bhatta's son is Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who was sent to Vrindavan to study under, and he became one of the celebrated 6 Goswamis. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami's worshipable deity is Sri Sri Radha Raman. And if you remember that, Mother Uttara had said the lotus feet of MadanMohan, the chest or the upper torso of Govinda ji, and the face of Gopinath ji is the personification of Krishna. But our Acharya Srila Prabhupada says that if we take darshan of Sri Radha Raman, then Raman is the personification of Krishna. This is how beautiful Krishna is. So elegant, so beautiful. Jai Shri Shri Radha Raman ki jai. Next slide, please. So here we have another closer look at Radha Raman, Sri Raman. Next slide, please. So this is Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. It is explained that Gopal Bhatta Goswami used to worship Shaligram Shila. As you can see, that round Shaligram Shila is there in front of him. And, he was very happy and satisfied worshipping the Shaligram Shila. But, the other Goswamis, they had already started worshipping Radha Govindaji, Radha MadanMohan. Jiva Goswami was worshipping Radha Damodar. So like this, all the Goswamis were worshipping, and, other merchants and devotees were coming. They were offering nice outfits to the deities. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami was thinking, oh, I wish I also had a deity that, I would be also able to dress nicely, because Shaligram, how can we dress Shaligram Shila, no? So he was thinking like this. And one day he went to the Jamuna. He put his little Shaligram Shila in his bag, and he hung it on a tree, on the Kadamba tree. He went down to the Jamuna to take bath. When he came back, he saw that, that Shaligram Shila was small, but it seemed like it had grown a little bit. So he thought, oh, is there a snake inside this bag that had come inside the tree? From the tree, it came inside my bag. So very cautiously, he took out the bag. He was saying, a snake is going to come out. But then he saw, next slide, please. What did he see? That his Shalagram had manifested into Raman. Jai Shri Shri Radha Raman Ji ki jai. And Gopal Bhatta Goswami just embraced Raman so lovingly. Next slide, please.
This happened on the day of the appearance of Lord Nrsingadev. Nrsinga Chaturdashi, he appeared from Shaligram to this wonderful form of Shri Shri Radha Raman, because Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami prayed, Nrsingadev, you came out of the pillar. Could you manifest yourself from this Shaligram Shila?
as well. So what is the difficulty? If you can come from the pillar, from Shaligram also you can manifest. So like this, Gopal Bhatta Goswami was in ecstasy that, Raman had finally manifested. His desire of dressing the deity would be now fulfilled.
And the pujaris of the temple, they explained that at the back of the deity, a part of the original Shaligram Shila is also present, which is a proof that the deity grew out of his own sweet will from that Shaligram Shila.
Next slide, please. So this is how Shri Radha Raman Ji manifested for Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami to reciprocate with him, so that, this is how merciful Krishna is. He reciprocates so lovingly with the love of his devotees. Jai Shri Radha Raman ki Jai. We pray to you, O Radha Raman, that, when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, the Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare is referring to you, O Raman. Please, Raman means one who gives pleasure. Please allow us to taste that pleasure and allow us to experience that pleasure of chanting your holy names. Jai Shri Shri Radha Raman ki Jai. Next slide, please. Now we come to the final temple of today. We are so sorry that it's taking so long, but we hope that you will stay with us. That this is the temple of Shri Shri Radha Damodar, the most very, very, very famous temple in Vrindavan, the temple of Srila Jiva Goswami's worshipable deities, Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ji. Next slide, please. So this is the deity of Shri Shri Radha Damodara. Next slide, please.
And they were carved by Srila Rupa Goswami for Srila Jiva Goswami.
Haribol. So this is Sri Giriraj Shila. Actually, this Giriraj Shila was given by Krishna himself to Sanatan Goswami. It is said that Sanatan, every day he would do Giriraj Parikrama. And then one day when he got really, really old, Krishna said, Sanatan, don't do Giriraj Parikrama every day. You have gotten very old. Then Sanatan said, no, I have to do. I want to do. So then Krishna said, okay, I'm giving you my Shila, Giriraj Shila. That, please take the Shila. It has my lotus feet imprint. So as we can see, it has the lotus feet imprint, and it has, the round on the right hand side is actually a footprint of the calf, and it has Krishna's stick that he uses to graze the cows. So it's called Lakuti. So that all these three marks are there in this beautiful Giriraj Shila. And Krishna gave this Shila to Sanatan Goswami to say that, please circumambulate this Shila, and it is equivalent to circumambulating the entire Giriraj. So many devotees, if you just go to Radha Damodar temple, and if you circumambulate the temple 7 times, it is equivalent to doing Giriraj Parikrama. Jai Shri Giriraj Shila ki Jai.
In fact, one time Emperor Akbar also came to Vrindavan Dham from Agra, and he had the darshan of Jiva Goswami. Just by association of Srila Jiva Goswami, it transformed his heart, and Emperor Akbar was given the vision of appreciation of Sri Vrindavan Dham. And so under the guidance of Srila Jiva Goswami, Akbar and his generals and ministers, they became very active in developing Vrindavan as a very holy place. And they were the ones who helped in the construction of Radha Govinda Ji temple, Radha MadanMohan temple, Radha Gopinath Mandir, things like that.
Yeah. Next slide, please. This is a close-up look of Shri Shri Radha Damodar. We were very fortunate that actually all of these temples, they don't close after the Mangalarti. The pujaris, they keep the altar open and they decorate the lordships. So we had seen how so much lovingly they actually decorate their lordships with fresh sandalwood and camphor and saffron, and they paint the Lord very beautifully every single day. So beautiful, Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ji ki Jai. Next slide, please. So here in the courtyard of Shri Radha Damodar temple is the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this place, this Radha Damodar temple, is actually like it was like the center where all the Goswamis would meet. Rupa Goswami would come here, Sanatan would come, Jiva was anyway staying here. So all the Goswamis would come and they would discuss Krishna Katha and the writing of books. They would have, meetings here. This was like the headquarters, the hub of, Rupa Goswami in fact said that this is the hub of the spiritual world, this Radha Damodar temple. This was like their headquarters.
And Srila Jiva Goswami therefore personally arranged for the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami here. And of course, in this place, Jiva Goswami wrote several, like 25 books, and which had like more than 100,000 shlokas. 18,000 shlokas is Srimad Bhagavatam. Now you can imagine 100,000 shlokas, almost 5.5 times of Srimad Bhagavatam. That much literature Srila Jiva Goswami wrote right here. And his uncle and mentor, Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, Jiva Goswami created right here. He wrote Srila Rupa Goswami wrote Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as well. Although Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu he had written in Ter Kadamba, but still here as well he was there. And next slide, please. Here also our very own Srila Prabhupada, before he embarked on his journey to America, he used to stay in Vrindavan for several years in a small room at Sri Radha Damodar temple. Even today, when we go to take darshan of Sri Radha Damodar, there's the big courtyard, and on the right hand side you can see this room of Srila Prabhupada, and ISKCON has taken the service of this particular room. Next slide, please.
This is the bed of Srila Prabhupada where he used to sleep, study desk. It is maintained till today. We can see that this is the actual study table, the actual bed in which Srila Prabhupada would sleep. Next slide, please. Right opposite this room is this kitchen where Srila Prabhupada would cook every day. And he would, if you see that little window, that window is actually overlooking the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami. And Srila Prabhupada would write his, books here. He has written the first 3 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam here. Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar temple from 1959 to 1965 till he left for, Boston, USA. Next slide, please. So,
and then from the place where he would write, he had the vision of Srila Rupa Goswami coming and blessing him with the inspiration to go to the Western world and preach Krishna consciousness.
okay.
Next slide, please.
And this is how Srila Prabhupada would discuss Krishna Katha with whoever would come to meet him. Just see how, simple. This is an actual picture before Prabhupada left. How simply Prabhupada would stay. Such humble way Srila Prabhupada would stay in Sri Radha Damodar temple. Next slide, please.
And then Srila Prabhupada went to the West. He preached to several Westerners and then he brought them back to the same. This is actually Srila Prabhupada giving lecture to all the devotees right in front of Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. As you can see, it is Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. Srila Prabhupada was inspired right here at Sri Radha Damodar temple.
And it was actually before Prabhupada left to the West, Srila Prabhupada would cry. It is said by one of the Goswami, little boys. Now he's an elderly boy. Elderly man. So he would say that, Prabhupada in the middle of the night, he would sweep in front of Rupa Goswami's Samadhi and he would wail and cry loudly that, oh Rupa, please allow me to fulfill the instructions that my Guru Maharaj has given me. Empower me to go and fulfill these words and take up this mission that my spiritual master has given me. Like this, Srila Prabhupada would cry, and he spent his days in Vrindavan in preparation to come and fulfill the words of his spiritual master. Next slide, please. So as you see here,
this is the courtyard, and this place where Prabhupada is coming from. On our right is Srila Prabhupada's study and his bedroom, his bed. And on the left-hand side is the room of the kitchen there of Srila Prabhupada, which is overlooking the Samadhi. Right behind this if you go to the room right behind this, on the left hand, on our left hand side is Srila Rupa Goswami's Samadhi as well. And on our left hand side is the deity darshan of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we pray to Srila Prabhupada to please allow us to be in the mood of the servant of your servants, so that we may be humble instruments in preaching your compassion to the rest of the world for your pleasure, and always remain connected to you, whatever be the situation.
Hari Bol. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Next slide, please. So thus, listening to all these pastimes, visiting all these Goswami temples, we didn't even understand how we completed the entire Panca Parikrama ki jai. We have come back to the main gate of Sri Sri Krishna Balaram temple. We offer our obeisances that we completed, that Krishna Balaram allowed us to complete this Panca Parikrama in great ecstasy. So we offer our obeisances here, and we go and take Mahaprasad and prepare for the next day where we will start our parikrama for going to Mathura. Next slide, please. So today we have covered all the Goswami temples here today. So we can end the slideshow here. So in remembrance of visiting all the Goswami temples today, we would sing a very beautiful bhajan. The lyrics will be posted in a minute. So this is glorifying all the temples that we visited today and their worshipable, who worshipped them. So this is called as Radha Krishna Giti. So please join us in singing together this beautiful, beautiful bhajan called as Radha Krishna Giti. And right after the bhajan, we will open the lines for questions. Jai Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Srila Jaya Devir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Devir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Madhava Jai Jai Radha MadanMohan Radha Madan Gopal Radhe Srila Sita Nathir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Madan Gopal Sita Nathir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Madan Gopal Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Srila Goswami Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Govinda Goswami Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha Govinda Jai Jai Radha MadanMohan Radha MadanMohan Radha Srila Sanatanir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha MadanMohan Sanatanir Prana Dhana Hai Jai Jai Radha MadanMohan Radha Jai Jai Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radha Srila मधुपति तेरे प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा गोपीनाथ रानी। जय जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर रानी। श्रील जीव गोस्वामी प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा दामोदर जीव गोस्वामी प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा दामोदर रानी। जय जय राधा रमन राधा रमन रानी। श्रील गोपाल भट्टर प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा रमन गोपाल भट्टर प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा रमन रानी। जय जय राधा विनोद राधा विनोद रानी। श्रील लोकनाथ प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा विनोद लोकनाथ प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा विनोद रानी। जय जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधा गोकुलानंद रानी। श्रील विश्वनाथ प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा गोकुलानंद विश्वनाथ प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा गोकुलानंद रानी। जय जय राधा गिरिधारी राधा गिरिधारी रानी। श्रील दास गोस्वामी प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा गिरिधारी दास गोस्वामी प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा गिरिधारी रानी। जय जय राधा श्यामा सुंदर राधा श्यामा सुंदर रानी। श्रील श्यामानंद प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा श्यामा सुंदर श्यामानंद प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा श्यामा सुंदर रानी। जय जय राधा बाके बिहारी राधा बाके बिहारी रानी। श्रील हरि दास प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा बाके बिहारी हरिदास प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा बाके बिहारी रानी। जय जय राधा राधा कांत राधा राधा कांत रानी। श्रील भद्रेश्वर प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा राधा कांत भद्रेश्वर प्राण धन है। जय जय राधा राधा कांत रानी। जय जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गंधर्विका गिरिधारी रानी। श्रील सरस्वती प्राण धन है जय जय राधिका गिरिधारी सरस्वती प्राण धन है जय जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी जय जय राधा माधव राधा माधव श्रील प्रभुपाद प्राण धन है जय जय राधा माधव प्रभुपाद प्राण धन है जय जय राधा माधव
Gospami Gari ki
जय श्री श्री षडगोस्वामी मंदिर की जय
Shri
श्री
Vrindavan
श्री
Dham
वृंदावन
ki
की जय
jai.
श्री पंचक्रोश परिक्रमा की
जय.
जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय.
जय इस्कॉन वर्तमान गुरु वृंद की
जय.
जय
All right, so let's open up for questions or comments. It took 1.5 hours today for some reason. Hopefully in the next yatras, we would be able to end earlier, but we really wanted to complete the Pancha Krosha Parikrama today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your enthusiasm. And thank you for your determination. Utsahat Nishtayat Dhairya.
So Garima.
Hare Krishna, and Prabhuji and Mataji, Dhanvad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. I really loved today's class, and we went to Radha Damodar's temple, and Radha Damodar's temple is my favorite temple of the whole Vrindavan. So I love like the Damodar temple. I've seen Prabhupada's kitchen and where he sleep and when he write, and I've seen the deities. Most of it, yeah. So this Radha Raman, it has Radha, but there is no Radha there. So why there's a Radha Raman and a Radha there?
Because they say that Srimati Radharani is present in a Shaligram Shila, waiting to be manifested. That's why they say Radha Raman.
So just like Raman manifested from the Shila, one day Radharani will also manifest. So she is present in an unmanifested form.
In the Shila, next to Raman.
Oh, okay.
And one day she will manifest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Haribol. Thank you, Beta. Any other questions?
Okay, it's quite late today, so if there are no more questions, we can end here. Thank you so much for participating in this yatra. Let's all get together and always build our relationship with Krishna in the center. And this Vrajamandal Parikrama gives that particular opportunity to us. Tomorrow, we will start the actual Vrajamandal Parikrama, the 84 Kroshas, 84 Kosh Parikrama.
Anjudi, you have a hand raised, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Everything was amazing, amazing, amazing. It was. And mesmerizing. It was so beautiful. I was just looking at it and it just reminded me, though I think so, I was 6 years old only. And I remember very, small reflection. I can just say, I just do remember the thing, like, my father and my Tauji, like, we had gone to ISKCON temple over in Vrindavan. And that time, Srila Prabhupada, he was very sick, and he had I remember in the main temple, very just a glimpse of it. I just wanted to share this with you. And I still remember a glimpse of it, not very, very clearly. And he, like, we could touch his, I could touch his lotus feet. We all could touch his lotus
Oh,
feet and
very
his
good.
blessings.
Right.
It
If
So
we
was,
touch
fortunate.
you, we will be blessed.
it like, I always like very, very just a thing. And I was like, now I feel it was so fortunate enough, like, you know, we could seek his blessings. And that time, uh, we just, because my father and my full family is such a big devotee of Krishna and Radha. So that time we were not so aware of all these things. They just took us and we just all went. It was just, we were very fortunate enough, I think so, by Krishna's mercy and grace, that we could seek the blessings. And now I just say, my father is no more, and I was just saying in my heart, thank you, Papa, for doing it, for taking us all over there. So it was such a wonderful thing. And all these things. And if I don't know whether you have, I don't know the name. It is very, very close to my heart in Vrindavan. Behind the ISKCON temple, there is a place. If you just go to the street, just behind the ISKCON temple, there is a street, and you just go. I don't know whether the place is there is, all the trees are bow down, and in those that tree there, that temple, there are a lot of peacocks and parrots. So many peacocks and parrots I've never seen anywhere, and you're not supposed to talk over there. And the panditji who serves over there, he says, just like, he will so khushbus also, like little whisper also, he says, no, keep quiet, just sit. And they say that they're self manifested deities over there, and it's so peaceful, so calm. And over there, all the trees are bent the way you had shown. And there was one tree in that there was what we serve food, patta, chammach, and that dona hota hai na, jisme prasad dal ke, like, this over there na, they in Vrindavan they will give you all the prasad in dona. That dona, chammach, and one more thing was there. It was there on the tree. And we could not just believe it, how this has been naturally manifested. It was so beautiful. So I don't know, remember the thing. Next time when I go, I will just remember, then I can share what is the thing. If you know, then you can just let me know the place name.
It is called
Pardon?
Tatiyasthal.
Okay.
And there it is said that even the leaves, when the fresh leaves come, they have the name Sri Radha engraved in them naturally.
Tatiyasthal. Okay.
Tatiyasthal.
It's so beautiful, that place is also so divine and so nice, like, there's such beautiful pastimes once you just go into them, and you just completely get lost. It's so
Very
beautiful.
true. Very true.
Thank you for such divine yatras and such all these, memories back. And this time on COVID, though I went in Purushottam Mass over to Mathura, but Banke Bihari Mandir was closed. So making us do darshan also in the Parikrama. It was so blessed. And this in Kartik Mass also. So beautifully. I have one question. You just mentioned about this Karoli thing, because next month I'm going to Rajasthan. So I just wanted to know this. So all the deities are in Karoli, all the three, or only one?
Two in Jaipur, one in Karoli. MadanMohan is in
Maybe
Karoli.
Jaipur only. Okay.
Yeah, so Jaipur is Govindaji and Gopinath are in Jaipur, and Karoli is MadanMohan.
Gopinath is actually not in Jaipur. It is also in
little inside.
Little inside. But Jaipur, Radha Govindaji. In Karoli, Radha MadanMohan. And Radha Gopinath ji, I don't remember exactly, but we can let you know where it is.
But they have tours, guided tours also. You can rent a car and they can show you. They take the responsibility of showing you all the three temples in one day.
Oh, so wonderful.
Yes.
So kindly let me know. So, like, because next month only I'm going, so I thought I will just do the divine darshans by God's grace.
Must.
So
Wonderful.
to Jaipur. Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rushan Mavani.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji, Dandavad pranams. Mataji, I had a question that I have heard that Gopal Bhatt Goswami had 12 Shaligram Shilas. Is that correct?
We actually don't know that yet, but we can find out and let you know. He used to worship a lot of Shalagram Shilas, and but how many in exact number I'm not sure.
But I believe you are right. Yeah, there were several. How many? 12 or maybe more? I'm not sure, but one of them transformed into
Raman.
Radha Raman. I mean Raman.
Okay, Mataji and Roji, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Okay, if not, we can end here. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. We'll see you tomorrow again. Those of you joining us from India, 7 a.m. from today, like we did, 7 a.m. from tomorrow onwards. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.